Hi there, yep, that's right, it's Nick Datch back again one more time. I kind of rather like this format. It's rather reminds me of some of my more traditional Nick Dutch videos I did way back in my very early days of YouTube, using a really poor quality camera and making really poor quality videos, but just like loving creating the content. Anyway, continuing with the Entering the New Age Movement series, because I think this is important. I think the movement's important as well. That's why I'm going into it. Now, what I want to do right now is to discuss the importance of emotions and preconceptions, because why is it that someone would want to call a tarot reader? What is the benefit of it? Well, because a tarot reading is an emotional entertainment service. Alright? Now, I saw a science documentary, and no, I can't give you a link to it, okay? But this is just something that I saw. You just have to trust that I saw this particular science documentary. And it was essentially about cognition, thinking. But it pointed out that there's something interesting about the way in which we build up associations with ideas, and that our digestive system itself actually has a brain in its own right, and it interacts with the rest of our nervous system and has become part of our cognitive faculties, namely the way in which we think. An experimental subject was set up with like a chocolate bar and a glass of apple juice, and was told, come on, perfectly normal chocolate bar, made in hygienic conditions, great, recipe from Belgium or somewhere where they make really nice chocolate, have a piece. And of course she tucks in, enjoys the chocolate, absolutely wonderful, loves it, and then it's told, have a swig of the apple juice. It's pure apple juice, nothing added, it's organic, it's going to taste great. And she has a swig and she loves it, it fills her boots, really enjoys it. And then there's the second condition, in which they got the same experimental subject who has rationally understood the chocolate, and has rationally understood the apple juice, and knows what the apple juice is like, and knows what the chocolate is like. But this time, she is shown the same chocolate bar, but it's in a different shape. Just in a different shape. That's all. Same ingredients, same manufacture process, done in the same hygienic conditions, alright? Same, proper, top quality, 5-star recipe for this chocolate, okay? But it's in a different shape. Alright? And that shape is that of a dog turd. And so she's told by the scientist in a lab coat, right, it's the same chocolate bar, made with the same recipe, all the rest of that. Do you want to have a piece? And she instinctively goes, no, no. Despite the fact she would have been quite willing to have more in the first condition. Alright? Then she's again shown a glass of the same apple juice, same top quality organic apple juice, brilliant, beautiful flavour, but a scientist takes a cockroach, a dead cockroach, which has been sterilized, is perfectly, free of all germs, and drops it into the apple juice. And then says to the experimental subject, go on, take a swig. It's just the same, it's got no germs in it, it's perfectly clean, it's pure, organic apple juice, it's beautiful. And the experimental subject says, no. You see, because rationally speaking, this particular subject and all the other ones who participated, who had very similar, reactions, basically would not do something that would go against what the guts was telling the head. Because we have feelings, we have emotions, we build up associations, the gut itself, and, other parts of our nervous apparatus does a lot of the thinking for us. This is essentially why we have, we've developed this for a self-defense mechanism. If someone was to put a dog turd in front of you and say, tuck in, it's nutritious, it might well be nutritious. But on the other hand, you've got fear of contagion. Your body, knows stuff. And so you're not going to touch it. We are irrational creatures. And therefore, there is an important requirement for us to have ways of dealing with our emotional reactions. And that can be to do with anything. Alright, I'm not just talking about chocolate bars that look like dog turds. I'm not just talking about glasses of apple juice that may be perfectly organic and delightful, but have had like dead, sterilized cockroaches dipped into it. Okay, I mean, to do with everything, with people, places. I mean, a person can intellectually realize that someone of a different race, religion, culture, language, or anything, would be fine, perfectly, normal and all the rest of it. But if they've been allowed to develop a prejudice, then that prejudice will be just like that irrational emotion inside them, which will stop them from thinking rationally about the person of a different country or culture or race or religion or color of skin or facial expression or fashion styles. Okay? Because humans are irrational. And the same when dealing with relationship issues, the same when dealing with a whole manner of issues. So essentially the New Age world is there to assist people to understand things. I mean, when I was going through my neophyte education within certain pagan groups, I was encouraged just to build up associations, take a symbol, research some of its historical meaning, alright, and then just spend some time contemplating it. Let's say the symbol was the color red. How is the color red used in traffic lights? How is the color red used in advertising or in fashion? And what other meanings are associated with this one particular symbol? Okay, and then I can build up an understanding, a complex, not necessarily a singular, but a complex understanding of what the color red means. So when I go into a meditation with the color red, I can think about how I could use it constructively to try and bring about a particular mood. Okay? Now, so it's intellectually using irrationality or the way that we react to various things. And the same can be applied in a more complex manner with some of the bigger issues of life itself. And that's essentially why the New Age movement is important, because it's that space whereby we have the symbols, we have the emotional reaction triggers, and we can try and objectively learn to understand them using contemplative tools and methodologies. Emotions are real things. And on top of that, humans themselves are irrational. Alright, that's just a plain natural science fact. We are irrational. Therefore, there is a need for us to learn how to intellectually and rationally use something which is irrational to try and do us and our society some good. Alright, this is the reason for transdeism, and this is the reason why I feel that there's an awful lot of transdeism in the New Age movement and in the pagan movement. But essentially, the lust that people have got to try and turn something into a religion which could then help them make tons of money, alright, has basically separated us from realizing how we could use the tools and the triggers from the symbolism of color, of planetary symbols, tarot cards, runestones, all these things, to help us to understand our associations and what we're really about. Then, of course, you've got the other layer of confusion, which is popular fiction, and the fact that there are some religious groups who associate themselves with the characters from popular science fiction or occult fiction, and say, this is basically, what we should be. We should be thinking like this character, presenting ourselves like this character, and so on and so forth, which basically is the irrationality has gone wrong. Okay, the irrationality has been twisted to try and create even more irrationalities, rather than using contemplation to try and remedy a situation. It's used PR to try and twist people's minds in a negative way. I mean, I'm sure you can tell there's that little black rectangle on my wall. That's right, that's the picture frame with a piece of black cardboard in it. I use it for dark mirror scrying. And yeah, that can be quite a useful tool for analysis of symbols and ideas and words. And if you're doing mantra meditation, you're staring into the dark mirror, you can see something come back at you sometimes, and then you'll think, so that's what I think on a deep subconscious level such and such a symbol or idea or word means. I mean, we've got no way of proving objectively that spirits actually have an objective existence, but we can use the technology, use the methodologies of occultism to try and work out how we as individuals are working, and from that to base a broader understanding upon ourselves intellectually, morally, creatively, and so on and so forth. So emotions are real things. Emotions are real positives if we learn how to use them in a positive way, and that means through understanding. And that's why we need to change the New Age movement to try and work out in what ways it's going wrong and it's becoming pathogenic. Okay? But it's also a proof and justification that the New Age movement and all forms of religion and spirituality can in fact be very positive things, because we can use them to our benefit. If we apply our minds, we can keep our rationality, and we don't go down the path of superstition.